Hello everyone, my name is Koen Derksen and I will be presenting our paper First Steps Towards Patient-Friendly Presentation of Dutch Radiology Reports. So currently patients can log in to a portal at the Radboud University Medical Center in order to view their radiology reports after they've had a scan. And these reports are presented like plain text with some previously known history and a report of the findings and a conclusion based on those findings. And this text is full of medical terminology that's really hard to understand if you don't have a medical background. And this can cause some anxiety amongst patients when they, for example, read about a clinically irrelevant finding that sounds really scary. And so to combat this, we would like to annotate these reports with clarifying information from external sources. So the data that we have to work with is approximately 10,000 reports of thorax CT scans performed between 2013 and 2018 at the Radboud UMC. These reports are anonymized using in-house software, and other than these reports we don't have any additional information. So no labels about the diagnosis or anything like that. And so what we want to do is first off named entity recognition to detect interesting terms in the reports that we can clarify further. And then we want to link these entities to external information sources. And some examples of those sources are the Unified Medical Language System, or UMLS, and websites like Radiology Assistant or Thuisarts, which contain information that's a little bit more layman friendly. There is some existing tooling out there to do this. For example, Quick UMLS is a tool for entity linking to the UMLS knowledge base, and there are several others. But many of these tools are only applicable to English, and if they are applicable to Dutch, they seem to not work very well. So here are some examples of results from Quick UMLS. So here we have a Dutch sentence that translates to image consistent with post-radiation pneumonitis. And this is linked to the pneumonitis concept in the UMLS, which then provides an ID and a definition. So this might be considered a correct link. However, there is still the question if we want to actually tag post-radiation pneumonitis, since this provides some additional details about the specific disease that might translate to a different treatment, for example. So this one is debatable. Then there is another example, translated it means reference right, hilar lymph node series 5, image 256, with a short axis of 10 millimeters. Now here IMA is tagged as a body part, organ or organ component, because it is an abbreviation for inferior mesenteric artery. However, here in this context, it actually just means image. So this is a context-dependent thing that is done incorrectly here. So some problems that we run into are that there are very limited Dutch resources and very limited domain-specific Dutch resources especially. We already see that dictionary matching is not sufficient, as is shown by the examples I previously mentioned. We are dealing with a lack of reference annotations, and our data is very imperfect. So the reports are a mix of dictated and written. So there is speech recognition errors, abbreviations that may or may not exist, typos, etc. So the approach that we want to take is to start with existing tooling like Quick UMLS and doing semi-automated annotations of a subset of these reports, and then propagating the obtained annotations to all available data. After that is done, we want to train NER and entity linking systems using, for example, deep learning techniques like BERT. So here's an example of the annotation that we're doing. We are tagging spans that contain, for example, findings, body parts, diseases, etc. And we are also specifying relations between those spans, as well as negations and uncertainty, shown here with the cross and the asterisk. And so this is to be continued. We have to still complete annotation. And additionally, we need to compile and or create patient-friendly resources to link to, since, for example, UMLS is still quite terminology heavy and not necessarily aimed at patients. Additionally, we are looking into summarizing these reports, so for example, leaving out clinically irrelevant information. And finally, we would like to include imaging information that goes with these reports as well. I will leave you with that. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact us. The emails are listed on the slide here. And thanks for listening.